The Ten of Swords, creation number one, part of the Dawn of X initiative, which seems to be transitioning into Sunset of X, written by Jonathan Hickman and Tina Howard, and artwork by Pepe Larraz, so awesome artist, and colored by Garcia. So I got the Mark Brooks variant, the wraparound, cool covers, cool cover. This is the one I wanted to get, but we're in the new initiative. I know I have not covered all of Dawn of X because that's virtually hard to do, but I really want to talk about this issue, so expect things to go out of order, though I hope to in terms of big storylines, but I do hope to cover Dawn of X in some form or fashion. But creation number one, oh yeah, this was something I wanted to talk about for a while. This is the big crossover event of the X-Men for the Dawn of X initiative as part of the rebranding of the X-Men and its nation state of Krakoa. And there were 2 additional issues in the comics of the Dawn of X initiative led by Jonathan Hickman. So the 2 issues are preludes, which are the X-Men issue 12 and Excalibur issue 12, which are preludes for this big event. And yeah, and this whole plot point involves an island called Araco, which is in another dimension, complicated because comics, and it involves this concept of this place where it would involve taking place from all the way back to Powers of 10 and House of X, or Powers of X. So, yeah, this has been a year in the making. It probably could have been, it's probably over a year in the making, even when the coronavirus hit and the pandemic happened and they delayed it. This was originally supposed to be scheduled to be a 15-book series, but then it got expanded to 22, and I was like, well, it's led by Hickman, so I gotta check it out. And Tina Howard is the current writer of Excalibur, so involving medieval stuff, it probably makes sense for him to get involved in this. But this artwork in the book, the cover, I wanted to get this cover, but I also, whenever they made it for a comic, but I also love Pepe Larraz's artwork with the creation, and that's the regular version. This is a variant. And I was seriously thinking, man, do I want the creation number one, or do I want the Mark Brooks variant? Because the artwork is so beautiful, so beautiful. But then I reasoned with myself, oh wait, Pepe Larraz is drawing this book, so I'm getting both the best of both worlds. So I went either way. So this is a 22 issue event. So, and this expands to all the Dawn of X books currently in the line, and there's going to be several big Fallout events with it. If you see my Neo Reality Collective events, I have talked about one that has been brought up and is being written by Al Ellering, and called Sword, which is going to launch after the event of Ten of Swords. Also, as part of the initiative, there was also the Free Comic Book Day to build towards this event, which did undergo some structural rewrites in this comic alone. So because probably they're trying to tease something here, or they changed it up, or Hickman had a different idea, but we don't know. But yeah, this artwork is so freaking beautiful. And it gives me the cinematic movie poster. It's still weird to see Apocalypse on the side of the X-Men after all the last, 50 plus years, 40 plus years, 30 plus years of comics where Apocalypse and the X-Men fought each other, but standing side by side, even if Apocalypse is manipulating them in some form or fashion. It is so weird. In this cover, you see Beast of X-Men and Cable, young Cable, because comic books, with Apocalypse, and it's you can't imagine that. But now it's Hickman was hold my beer, I can make that happen. So, yeah, so let's dig right into this big event comic of the X-Men universe. All I see, I own, and I am unsatisfied with the state of things. He also wanted to go ahead and be bitching about it on Tumblr. Sarin. And I'm pretty sure I butchered that name wrong, so sorry if I said that. So, we get to this island called Del Dorol, the last watchtower of the Kingdom of Drydora, Otherworld, which is currently under siege by a bunch of armed creatures and 4 people who look Egyptian. Del Dorol, the last in the light in the distance, the last hope of a lost land. How many times does she refuse our call? That tower. It offends me. It always offends me. I will bitch on Twitter and go on Tumblr. And then his fellow compatriot goes ahead and says, and how long has it been since we have eaten well on the bones and blood of the free people of a free land? Too long, I say, for they offend me. They have always offended me. Let's complain about everything to Tumblr. Did you know that in their language, Dalar means the light forever? That's some bold claim. Another person who also has Egyptian aesthetics with the mummy bandages wrapped around him, holding a bow. Oh, so then we get this person who's literally on fire, head flames, saying it's a fool's claim. Everything raised is only for a season. If there is one thing we are proof of, it's that. I say let the wolves run, let the tower fall. Say the word and I will give you war. Death. Death for all of them. And then Pepe Larez's artwork continues to say, I will create art! Because this book is very densely written. Like, since this also involves a nation state, there's also politics involved in the mutination of Krakoa. So, yeah, and now you got the forces of Apocalypse basically leading the okay, if I was to describe this besieging scene, it's basically like, hey, what if we had the Egyptian gods leading the trolls, ghouls, and creatures of the Lord of the Rings? Yeah, that's basically what it is. It's basically the Egyptian gods playing the role of Sauron, except there's 4 of them. We are fucked if we fought something like that. The Watchtower Keep, Del Dorar. My lord, dire news, word from the wall, disaster! I must proclaim this is a disaster, even though I'm running hastily and looking like I'm about to freak out and have a panic attack. How bad? Yes, how bad, even though you just said it's disaster. They have collapsed the outer ring. They're pouring into the city. I cannot say how long this keep will hold, but the tower will fall. You have to leave. Am I not called the Cursed King? I have outlived 3 queens with not a child among them. I have no line to protect or preserve. So if my kingdom falls, then its king, cursed as I am, will fall with it. My lord, we are all there is between here and the Starlight Citadel. We are her vassals. We have to. Yes, of course, of course, of course. Squire! Yes, my lord. Take this to Sarin, and it will mark you as my herald. Well, we need a new herald after Galactus was reportedly killed by Thor again in the comics. Let her know what has happened here. Let her know what is coming. I will not fail you, my lord. See that you don't. And that was the end of that guy. All of Otherworld depends on it. That was his final words before he realized he was cursed and realized he would fail being cutting himself up. Do you see that? They're setting some fool to announce the great work we have done here today. Do we want word getting out? Only if the word is truth. Put your mark on him, sister. I have something for you, child. A little gift to send you on your way. And she is stabbed, and the child is stabbed in the chest with an arrow. Oh, let them know we are coming. Yes, it's time. Exoswords Creation, Issue 1, Chapter 1. Written by Jonathan Hickman and Tini Howard. Artwork by Pepe Larez. Color artist Marty Garcia. Letterer, VC's Clayton Cowles, Tom Miller, designer. And, oh man, cover artists are variants. Jonathan Hickman, the head of X. Jay Bowen, production. Annabelle Bisa. I'm pretty sure I registered that name wrong. Assistant editor, Jordan D. White. Editor, CB editor-in-chief, X-Men, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Ten of Swords. Mankind is a new home. Krakoa, an island where the past is left behind and the future is free of fear. From life-saving medications to the miracle of resurrection, the Krakoan nation represents promise and possibility for its people. But nothing is new. No past completely erased. No future without a dark cloud on its horizon. Memory is long, history is longer, and the truth will outlast both. So we get our cast of characters. Rockslide, Rachel Summers, Summoner, Apocalypse. Summoner was introduced in the X-Men books, so Summoner is Apocalypse's grandson. Yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine Apocalypse having kids in the main Marvel universe. I could be wrong, he probably had kids. I do know from the Exile stories that another version of him had a kid named Holocaust because we're edgy. That and because we couldn't call it Doomsday because DC owns the rights. Magneto, Cypher, Polaris. Magneto's, 80th daughter that is not his daughter eventually when it's retconned. Havoc, Richter, Siren, Beast, Angel, Monet, Cable, Cyclops, Jean Grey. Later, the Starlight Citadel. Yeah, surprisingly, I didn't see Emma Frost in here, even though she's like one of the most appearing people in this comic. So, yeah. We're at the Starlight Citadel. Stay clear, Your Majesty. Take care not to touch. The attendants who found him and brought him here are now already dead. Yes, his wounds are going to kill him, but his touch could kill you. He is diseased. And they speak in the Krakoan language. Yes, that's the Scepter d'Ardor. And yes, it does portend something ill on the horizon. Listen, he's trying to say something. The Tower Araco. The walls have fallen. The tower will follow. What is that? Say it again. Araco. The tower. Arrakis. Desert planet. Arrakis. Desert planet. What? I can't. The tower has fallen. Araco has fallen. Okay, finally, they got to the point finally with that. So we're not going to go Dune comic stuff on us. Then she just quietly looks at them and says, I need the cards. Some forgotten place, some forsaken time. So, in some other dimension, probably, with two suns that look like it's red and everything, a portal opens up with more Egyptian aesthetic creatures showing up, along with the two people that were with Emma Frost. See the slave sun, older than the old world, younger than the dead one. She needs what's hidden there. Claudius Co. Summon it for me. And then they summon something. It looks to be tendril creatures. And one speaks in a different language that I will not pronounce because I cannot. There you are, hidden in the very heart of it. Don't be like that. You shouldn't think of it as your end, but as a fulfillment of what you are meant to be. You are, however, not going to be any good to us like that, are you now? And the weird thing disperses into multiple tendrils. While foreign language is continuing to spread around the world that I cannot translate. Better. Now, let's not keep her waiting. Nonsense, Koi. This is who we are. We serve at the pleasure of Saturn. A star is a small price to pay for such favor. So they murdered a star, so that's... yeah. The Starlight Citadel. Wars rages, kings die, the wheel turns the world around. Bones break beneath the wheel, the king he tumbles to the ground. The will's center never changes, never know the life she's take. Still she sits as smooth as place it, and Our Lady's face a peaceful lake. Avalon's Children's Rhyme. So we get more text in text box pages because Jonathan Hickman can't let that go, and because we need more exposition. Floating high above the central diplomatic zone of Otherworld is the Starlight Citadel, a physical manifestation of the epicenter of the Otherworld, where all realities intersect. So, all realities intersect, huh? So, Mark Waid's History of the Marvel Universe was completely defunct at like the first issue. The Citadel is more than simply a beautiful monument. It is a fortress serving as a defense for the infinite doors within. Each doorway serves as a passage to another reality, making the Citadel the most literal representation of a conjunction of all realities that Otherworld represents. Previously, each of these doors had its own defender and a representative in the form of a Captain Britain. However, when the original Captain Britain Corps was destroyed, these portals found themselves without defenders, leaving the Citadel, and thus the nexus of all realities, highly vulnerable to exterior attacks. So, what you're saying is, after they all were slaughtered, that means the Beyonders killed them all, if we were to go with that logic. It is believed that around the time Opal Luna, Saturn, the Omniversal Magist, and High Priestess of the Starlight Citadel, took a permanent residence in the Citadel and sealed it off to anyone but her priestesses in an act of desperate defense. Saturn's swift and decisive action kept the Citadel safe and standing during attacks by the witch Morgan Le Fay. The Citadel's known defenses include the highly trained priestesses of the White, bow-wielding assassins with long-distance aim, high-speed flight. The Citadel's current siege fortifications and other defenses are unknown. Currently, the Starlight Citadel is the easiest reached from Krakoa by way of the external gate. She is Opal Luna, Saturn, Omniversal Mastrix, the rightful ruler of Otherworld. Emma Frost, looking all ceremonial and robish in the awesome Pepe Larraz artwork, enters with two people that look like her to some extent but have teal-colored hair, aqua-colored hair, with one holding a box. And they enter what looks to be a forgery room. The white light on both fair and foul kingdoms, the eternal seat of the Starlight Citadel. And they're working on something, crafting something in the Iron Forge. This place is the brilliant center of all universes, yet we are covered in darkness. Some clouding of tomorrow by the fire and ash of war. She activates a mechanism which reveals the eye, which was created from the tendrils. The spoils of the split land and conflict that lies between them. I am blind, but I would see. So we get what looks to be a teal angel of an upside down crescent moon, presenting a box that contains special cards. While Emma Frost says, "So let's see what the future holds, shall we?" And this is where the editings are changed up. So Judgment had different editing. The tarot card scenes had different dialogues. I'm not going to go over all of them, but yeah, that was the big changes people noticed. Judgment, the death of death and the new way forward, which shows Apocalypse and his grandson standing together. The witch breed bring back their own dead now. Have they considered what else from the past awakens in the earth, what rises to face those who call themselves immortal? The Four of Wands, a family that has been fighting for eons, has one final confrontation before the rest of the ashes of the defeated, which shows more awesome battle and stabbings. They crave the last battle and the spoils of victory. They have built a hard home and one must dwell within. The Hanged Man. Here no men hang, but something has been suspended indeed. Time, natural laws, and earthly attachments. They bring themselves here to the game at the gallows. What do they wager to lose? The Eight of Cups. Someone's heart has been left empty. She has been wanting for something more. Will she turn away? Will she be turned away? A woman like this keeps her cups close. The Ten of Swords. Ah, here it is then, my light in the darkness. Something I have long desired flickers just out of my reach. But for the ones who hold the blades, a great match light the darkness indeed. And the tarot cards are beautifully designed. I would honestly love if Pepe Larraz made his own tarot cards with them, with the X-Men, because that just sounds awesome. And we see Apocalypse wielding a sword, Magic, Captain Britain, Wolverine, and Cable, young Cable, all holding a gun and a sword, while we see other silhouettes of people holding swords. And if the promotional material didn't spoil it, we would already know who's wielding swords, ready to do battle. Does this fortune belong to you? All our bases belong to us. A reading from Marie Annie Coblet. Mutant name Tarot. I drew a very strange reading of the cards last night. It is clearly très important, because I pulled it more than once. When I saw it for the first time, I had more questions, so I shuffled the tarot and asked the cards again. What was the message? Could they tell me more? And when I dealt the cards, they did not tell me more. Instead, they dealt themselves again, the same 5 cards as the reading before in the same order, one after another. I shuffled the deck and dealt 5 again, asking for more guidance, but the cards would give no more. This message of 5 cards was all they had for me. In exhaustion, I called my cousin in Leon, and another expert in the cards, but not mutant like us, and he said the strangest things, that he had pulled the very same cards that night, and so had his landlady's life. Another unexpected but welcome expert in the arcane. The cards are often stubborn, and it's not anything surprising to have to ask them the same question more than once, but to make myself clear, this is likely as pulling the same hand of poker thrice in a row, and then finding your cousin did the same. The message in the cards is clearly quite important for someone. I just hope it reaches them. Here were the cards cool. Perhaps this means something to you. Again, I had some people speculate it's probably heading to more Matagrit, since she's been gone this whole time since Powers of 10 ended and the House of X thing ended. So they go more into detail regarding the significance of the various tarot cards. Judgment is not a judgment in the way we think of it, but in the way the priests taught it in my youth. Final judgment and the rebirth of all in heaven. It typically means spiritual growth, but I think it is funny. Rebirth is surely a gift in Krakoa, yes. 4 of Wands, this is a good card, yes. It can mean you have finished something, or rather returning to something. Then in part. 4 can be a good number for this sort of thing. 4 walls make a house now. Non-dero to part. The Zorn brothers would consider 4 quite an inconspicuous number, so it varies. The hangman, well, you know how he got that way? He's hanging because he's sacrificing himself. Sometimes this one means you have what's the phrase? Kill your sweethearts or something. The latter cards are less pleasant, it seems. The 8 of Cups, a sad card. In my deck, the cups are all overturned here in the picture. The person this reading is for, something is missing in their life. They must walk away, or perhaps they already have. This is a wound. The 10 of Swords. Sometimes the darkest hour is before the dawn, yes, but also sometimes it is simply darkness. I cannot be sure in any case what is causing you pain. The pain will be the worst you ever felt, but then it will be gone. You will feel it no more. Whoever this reading is meant for, I hope it reaches them. Things seems very serious, according to this report. Then we go to the Araco point in Krakoa, the external gate, which is inside the volcano with a bunch of crystals. What's that sound? Gate's opening. Something's coming through. Friendly? Checking. Yes, but there's also a fung. Yeah, that sounds about right. Giant octopus creatures are ready to wreak havoc! And Summoner arrives with someone in arms, while riding what looks to be a gigantic multi-eyed octopus elephant. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh no, Banshee! He's dying! The healing gardens, gently. Gently. His life force flickers. He's on the edge now. I need you all to leave and let us work. So they put Banshee on this basically impromptu bed, and Apocalypse arrives onto the scene. What happened? We were ambushed in Otherworld on the way to Araco. There is an army on the march, grandfather. There is a war underway. Apocalypse looks more concerned. Come with me. Come with me if you wish to live. So the team starts to leave as Summers looks back to see, well, Banshee looking to be tended to. Then we cut to the Quiet Council assembled. Brothers and sisters, this is the son of she who is my daughter, War, a high summoner from Araco. We have troubling news. As you know, we recently constructed an external gate on the Araco remnant that joined with Krakoa. We is a generous way to put it, Apocalypse, as in there was no we. You didn't ask anyone if you could do it. You just did. And it may very well cost mutant lives to do so. Yeah, this is still weird to see Apocalypse, be politician guy sitting on the council with Xavier and Magneto, both of whom he's tried to kill in the past, but Xavier went crazy and pardoned him, basically. Mutant construct gateways all the time while bringing it to the council. Why ask for permission when none is needed? Yeah, he's got a point. If I did not have Krakoa's blessing, then Krakoa would have stopped me. Ask if you do not believe me. Douglas, can you? Sure. And Douglas speaks to the Krakoa tree face. Really? That's it? And responds again, alright, damn, you don't have to be that way about it. Krakoa acknowledges and accepts the gift of the external gate, and my thanks in return to the island for refuge and providence. As for all of you, you need to understand. There was once one land, Araco. Then the twilight sword of the enemy tore the land asunder, and what was one became two, Krakoa and Araco. In a war that followed, Araco was lost. Months ago, this blessed child and a remnant of that lost land returned to me. He sought me out and sang a refugee's song, Save Us. So I began building gates, experimenting, in the hope that I could return and save them along with Krakoa's lost half. I recently sent the summoner back through to prepare my coming. Please, child, tell the council what happened. 3. 3 was our number. And 3 walked through the external gate. I, a summoner of Araco, and the 2 heroes of Krakoa, Banshee, with a voice that can break mountains, and Uranus, us who cannot be touched by God or man. The other side of the gate opens at the center of Otherworld. When we emerged, we looked up and marveled at the sight of the starlit citadel in the sky. We were blinded by its majesty, shamed by it, for we did not see what waited on the horizon. It was the dark army that broke Araco, serving the Twilight Sword. They hate the living and love annihilation. They attacked us, and under the shadow of the citadel we fought, bravely, foolishly. Uranus was captured, and Banshee was wounded. I fled with him, and I returned here. I was to be a forerunner of a new age of apocalypse. Instead, I bring word of the fall of Araco, and my message is of the unavoidable end of this entire world. Emma Frost checks her nails and says, wonderful. Xavier then comments, perhaps there's a bit more illumination you can offer is Sebar Noor. A more proper assessment of the threat, if you will. Thousands of years ago, I gave up half the world to stop these monsters. All that cost was my wife, my children, and scores of godlike mutants whose names you have never heard of. I surrendered everything to stop this. So a proper assessment? The threat is real. Well, then you open the door, shut it, and leave behind Uranus? To say nothing of the Citadel and what it represents? We cannot just ignore this. I'll get Scott. He'll lead a rescue team for Uranus, and then the hand waves off by Apocalypse saying, no, I will go. Perfect. You walk through, and then we shut the door behind you. I have to say, after a mundane start, this meeting is really picking up. As part of oh man, he's so hilarious. Hellions is also fun with him. Exodus speaks, am I alone in seeing an ashy tint over overcast heaven? And something looms, something just beyond our ability to see, but it is there, I can feel it. I sense a disturbance in the force, and I do not think talking to this guy over here by my side is going to really help that matters. Nightcrawler says, me too. We shocked the world, and now I fear that the world recovers. We gather enemies, old and new, at a fever pace. Harmonies, Verendi, the Flowers Cartel, Zeno, and Orcus, don't forget Orcus, out there circling the sun, waiting. Then we get Katie Pryde, who is the Red Queen in the Marauders book, and then recently came back. Said voices, okay, I'm the only person in this room who hasn't walked through a gateway, lucky me, so maybe I'm missing some nuance of the situation, but we were worried about being vulnerable and we need to close the larger gate. Doesn't that still leave us in our world way to get to Otherworld? A gateway to Avalon exists. Yami Bradrock, the Omega Mutant Monarch, sits on the throne. It is a vassal state of the Citadel and offers its access to most of Otherworld. Then why the second larger gate? It's different. Like other gates, it must remain open at all times, but unlike those, Krakoa does not have full control of the external gate, and I'm beginning to suspect that access is not limited to mutants. Then we should destroy it. Now. Agreed. Shall we play democracy? A show of hands, perhaps? And let's see the vote. Nightcrawler raises his hand. Magneto raises his hand. Xavier raises his hand. Sebastian Shaw. Let's see. Emma Frost raises her hand. Exodus. Mystique. Man, he's so hilarious, yet I keep forgetting his name. Oh man. Oh god. I keep remembering, I keep seeing him, and I'm like, man. I keep trying to remember his name. It's so obvious, but at the same time, I'm like, how do I not remember this? He's hilarious and very flamboyant for some reason. I don't get that part, but still, he's hilarious. Let's see. Marvel Team Hellions. Let's see. And he was Sinister, Mr. Sinister. And yeah, now I remember. Oh man, read by Mr. Sinister. Oh man, he's hilarious. Just so freaking hilarious. Sorry about the delay, but yeah, he also votes for destroying it. So Xavier says, it's enough. I'm sorry, Apocalypse, but you should have. Excuse me. Yes, Douglas. Krakoa says the external gate must stay open. What? Then it explains, and Douglas translates. You need to understand your guests here. Our coexistence is collaborative and wonderful. It's a union of shared interests. But I am the land, and the land is mine. Please tell Krakoa that we apologize for speaking on his person in that way. We respect any decision he makes, of course. I understand the lore, the dream of the reunification of Krakoa and Arakko, but it seems as if Arakko has fallen to a dark enemy, and now only you remain. So please, ask Krakoa to consider our new union, and both our safety and his. And then he just says, okay, nice speech, but unless there is a great unknown threat, the gate stays open. Magneto just says, you expected this. Yes, after all, the Island and I want the same thing. Understand, whatever you are getting ready to do, you do it without the authority of this council, and you will do it without our blessing. Of course, I will ask for volunteers. So we cut to the external gate. Havoc arrives, Polarity arrives. I think I got that name right, but yeah. Havoc says, hey there. I wonder, how many times are we going to step blindly through some door and upend our lives? Cost of doing business, right? I take it Magneto asked you to come. The strength of the House of M must never be questioned. You? All this is all extra counsels. Scott couldn't really come, so he asked me to keep an eye on things, so here I am. Blind as can be. Quite an unusual gathering, would you say? Richard's got something going on with Apocalypse I don't understand, but they're inseparable. Same thing with Lock, Slide, and Summoner. Syrian insisted on coming after what happened to Banshee, and you, Curiosity. Did he get you again, Hank? Of course. Oh, I'm a creature of habit. You, however, I know, but all this talk from Apocalypse of hidden lands and secret histories. Even though these are new days for us all, I still don't trust him. I never will, so I have to be here. Yeah, so... Oh yeah, some people also pointed out in X-Force, Beast is kind of off for some reason, and some people believe he's possessed, which would make sense, but we'll see how that story goes. All I know is that Wolverine punched him. I suppose all that leaves is her. Whatever in the world is Monet thinking? Have you ever been to Otherworld, child? Ventured into the unseen lands, felt the invisible hand of the Starlight Citadel as she moves the infinite? No, I haven't. Then why are you joining us? Honestly, feels like a job I might want down the road. So, are we doing this or what? Map of Otherworld. We got this listing of Earth, Emeth, Krakoa, Arakko, Avalon Gate, Drydoor Rift, Starlight Citadel, External Gate, Fair Courts, the Floating Kingdom of Roman Riga, Inferia, the Everforge, Avalon, Seveloth, Merector, Val Courts, the Holy Republic of Fae, Hothhive, Drydor, Valen, as it's known as, Blightspoke, the Crooked Markid. So I'm pretty sure I butchered all that, so sorry. And we get this graph here that explains it. And more charts to explain the locations in the Holy Republics and the Otherworld Kingdoms and whatnot. Now we transfer to the Healing Gardens. I know that look. Looks like trouble, Cable says, as Summer replies. The hero says he'll recover. He's supposed to be resting, but his mind, it's... Yeah, I feel it. This Banshee's screaming. You're gonna take a look, aren't you? Will you help me? Sure, I'm in. Now we cut to the external gate. So this is the part where a plot twist is gonna happen, right? Yeah. What are you smiling at? You. It's good to see you in this form, and not the other, to see you as you really are. What I made you, an angel of death. You know what's always blown my mind? That you think that you can be you, and there's no end to it. Our sins find us out, Apocalypse. One cannot call something a sin when there's righteous work being done. That right there, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The lie that if you think it matters, then it's okay. If something else pays, is there nothing you've done you regret? So we cut to what looks to be the other world under siege. And Beast yells out, holding his glasses, yes. I am confused by that, because I was thinking to myself, why is he wearing glasses? Is it vision helping? But yeah, also, Monet is looking completely like, Jonas, he is their prisoner. And then Apocalypse, and this is the part where it gets really interesting about Apocalypse, something I've never seen before. But he is in shock. His eyes widen when a creature points at him, saying, "My God, to see such a thing with these ancient eyes." And then he admits something. You asked me if there was anything I regret. This I regret. Who are they? My light, my life, something I lost I dare not believe to find. My sons, my daughters, they are my children. So yeah, Apocalypse scored big time with somebody and raised the Egyptian pantheon. And now they're leading the ghouls and demons of the world. Oh, and Apocalypse cries. I love that detail, that Apocalypse is being humanized a lot more. And to see this emotional side to him, like, way to go, Hickman. So yeah, apparently Apocalypse fucked an Egyptian goddess probably, and the result was Egyptian pantheons. So he goes ahead and makes the march towards them. So we see our psionic abilities looking into the past of his Banshee's memories. I think we're in. Yeah, there they are. They're just exited the external gate. These memories, there's something off. Can you feel it? Yes, it's overwhelming. Something's wrong here. Banshee pointed to one of the soldiers, then Summoner walked towards them. Otherworld. We cut to the present. I have no words. I can't believe that this is real, that you live. It's more than I hoped for. This has always been my dream. Father, please, stand. We want to see you how we remember you, as a titan, as a god. Yeah, Apocalypse kneels. He's kneeling. He's overcome with emotion to see his children. Of course. I have so many things I want to say. I have so many questions. Yes? Tell me of Araco. If it fell, by what miracle have you returned to me? I wouldn't call the hell we've endured a miracle, Father. Far from it. And your mother, someone told me that she gone. Destroyed. She fell into the Twilight Blade. If it eases your pain, there was no avoiding it. It was always going to end the way it did. You have no idea what thousands of years of war in that place is like. It could break the strongest of us. I'm sorry. Regret is for the weak, and we were born strong. In that place, only the fit survive, and here we are. Would you like to know the one thing that kept us alive all these years? I'll tell you. It wasn't love. And she stabs Apocalypse, with Summoner stabbing him in the back. Judas! Called it. And of course we get the no! But amplified, like in humans. Like the Black Bolt. So we get the psionic abilities reminiscing everything. This is it. The memory we're looking for. Summoner. Oh god, it's worse than we thought. The Summoner. He betrayed them. I'm going to shh. Pay attention. I'm going deeper. And thus they started the mass slaughter. And the betrayal. And then we see Emma Frost looking down below as the carnage goes on. And looks up and says, I see you looking, mutant. But you're looking for the wrong thing. There is a great game afoot. And if you want to play, if you want to win, then this is what you want. This is what you'll need. Find it. Emma Frost then casts out the people watching her because she apparently has the ability to predict the future. Okay, she probably does. I don't know. Could you see that? Did you see what she showed us? Yeah, go find Mom and Dad. Show them. What about I'm going to stay here and go back into Banshee's head to see if there's anything else locked away. Otherworld. We see Saturn. Saturn, we need you. Yes, Rel, I heard you. I'm back. Is it time? I believe so. But only you can truly say, Mestrix. And if you'll please forgive my condor, I wonder how the raging war below, the rumble of thunder or death, has so thoroughly escaped your attention. Emma Frost continues her meditation techniques. I was in some other realm, at some other time, in some poor fool's head, moving things as I see fit. This is a delicate work, a fine thread that demands a singular focus and does not tolerate distraction. You call an army a distraction? You see an army, I see pawns. It's just as the card said. The hangman was drawn. The Krakoans have come. Tell me, are you going to help them? We need to get Apocalypse out of here! You can't save him, Fred. He cannot be saved. Don't call me friend. How could you do this? Why would you? I am a summoner of many things. Most of all, lies. We played a game once, friend. Now it ends. And Summoner cleaves the guy in half. This is a disaster! Look on the bright side. How could things get any worse? And yeah, and the guy gets shot. Alex, it's time for a tactical retreat! Alex, aka Havoc, screams out, You go! Get help! We'll stay here and make sure no one gets through the gate. But hurry, Hank! Hurry! There's no time! Mom! Dad! I need you! What is it, son? Yeah, it was Scott. What is it, son? Banshee came back from Otherworld and he's hurt bad, and Rachel and I were looking through his memories to find out what happened, and when we did, there was this woman who saw us and showed us something we had to find, and just take a look. There, you see it? Yeah, he spoke in rather quickly. Do you know what this is? No, I don't. Jean Grey states, I do, and I know something more important than what it is. Where to find it. And as the battle continues with Havoc, we get this dialogue with Nice Ivory Tower. I wonder why they don't come down to help. Oh, maybe you should invite them to join us. Good idea. People call me cold, but lady, this takes the cake. You've turned war into a spectator sport, and are you really going to sit there and watch your kingdom get ravaged and do nothing about it? I'll do what I please, child, and I can promise it won't have anything to do with the whims of you and any of your kind. Now, run along. Yeah, she gets knocked down. Yeah, I kept thinking this was Emma Frost when I first read this, but it looks very much like her, but it seems to be someone that just happens to look like her. I need to catch up on some books, but this is so far actually very engaging, and the artwork's so beautiful. Ow! No luck. That is not a nice woman. Well, maybe she needs some encouragement to do the right thing. The Citadel's a mighty big place of metal, floating metal, Lauren. We sent them an invitation. Let's make it a request. Use the bending of the force of metal. So we go back to Earth. So where is this thing located? In a place we can't get to through a gateway. We haven't planted one there yet. So as a result of my lack of vision, we're going to have to take a more scenic route. Scott, these are high-density translocators, hardwired into the core. Yes, dear, they are pretty exciting stuff. And after plugging in the right coordinates and a short jump away, here we are! If I am right, what you show me should be, well, take a look. And thus we see the gigantic orb of technology and death. Okay, wow, there it is. So, what is it? Back in Otherworld. Well, the battle rages on. Santerian. Yeah, the mutant is going to pull us from the sky. Perhaps. Or perhaps things are simply moving along, aligning to their rightful position. Universes, realms, planets, and the players. All is as was foretold. For I have seen the signs. I have watched them come to pass, and now it is time to show all who might wonder exactly who rules this land, forever constant and without questions. The real question is she then promptly disintegrated everybody. Oh wait, no, she just froze time. What am I going to do with you? Unfreeze me. Yeah, so that conversation probably went well. And then she just turns because, you know, this comes off as Emma Frost. No, I don't think I will. Not yet. So, not my area of expertise, but it looks like some kind of energy core. Close. Everything here is powered by a remote singularity drive. That energy flows is accessed by a stable trans-space bridge, which apparently is offline since everything here looks like it's running on backup. If I'm remembering correctly, this is the igniter that reopens that bridge, enabling everything to power back up. The problem is you need a pretty significant independent power source to get this thing started. And I honestly don't know where to find... Hey, Dad? Yeah? I think I have an idea. Clever boy. Yeah, I am still bugged by this. Like, young Cable is Scott Summers' son, and Jean Grey's in this relationship, and I'm just left confused. So, first things first, I'd like to hear what insanity made you think you could march an army into my lands and hope for any outcome that did not end in tears. You think we answer to you, witch? In this place, all answer to me. See? And he turns the god of Anubis into a kid. Now, by what right are you here? By right of the Twilight Sword and our liege who wields it. But if you think this magic or even my destruction is enough to deter us, you are wrong. We will have the other half of the land. We will have Krakoa, and the way there is through here. If we have to break 1,000,000 bodies against the walls of your citadel, we will. You have my word. I say this as a child, and I come off as adorable. Forgive me, Mastrix, but I cannot help but notice. This one is saying, I believe he is saying, they are willing to pay a blood price for what they want. Yeah, that's definitely what it was. Dradora has fallen. These creatures were its conquerors. So if I had to guess the writings of this, I think the Earth and Krakoa stuff and so the Apocalypse stuff is written by Hickman, and all this mythological stuff is by Tanya Howard. That's my best guess, so I have to reread Excalibur to catch up, but I keep thinking this is Emma Frost by the way she looks. So, these creatures were its conquerors. There is precedent. Yes, that's true. So, acting regent of Drador, are you exercising your rights as a vassal state of the Starlight Citadel? Are you willing to fight for it in a manner we see fit? We will meet you in any arena you choose. Yes, we will fight. I witnessed these words. It is done. Once again I have seen the signs. I have watched them come to pass. In 3 days' time, I will summon your champions of Araco here to duel the champions of Otherworld. Agreed. Send your best. Send your worst. It will not matter. I think it might. Even the most simple of creatures is capable of great things when fighting our cause. But great Saturn, who are these simple beings that would fight for Otherworld? Shall we call out to Avalon? To Brightsmoke? Or the Hoth Hive? Who will fight for the Starlight Citadel? Who would fight and die to stop our Araco from traveling from here to Krakoa? Now, child, you may speak. Fuck you! Yeah, that sounds like a best way to piss off a goddess. What about you, Kakoan? What say you? We don't really have much of a choice now, do we? Things proceed as predicted. All of this was preordained. Then yeah, we'll fight. I witnessed these wars. It is done. Once again, I have seen the signs. I have watched them come to pass. See the card that was drawn. See what shape the future holds. See it now. The Twilight Blade, Mercy of Alaran, the Red Sword of War, Colony, the Black Bone of Amdut, Seducer, Porg for Porg, Purity, Alovram, and Marmazah, the Sword of Might, the Starlight Sword, Grass Cutter, God Killer, Warlock, Soul Sword, the Scarab, the Light of Galdor, Skybreaker. These, the 10 swords. Slow and steady, son. And be careful. Mommy needs to go ahead and complain about this after me and Wolverine and Cyclops all have a threesome together. Because I'm still weirded out by that relationship. I keep thinking I don't know what happened before Dawn of X. So I could be wrong what happened in the comics. But I keep thinking it has something to do with the movies. So, Cable just stabs this gigantic spear that could kill everyone, probably. The court access, establishing bridge. 3 days. In 3 days, we will gather your champions here. Then we will see what you're made of. Lives will be lost, alliances will be shattered, and fortunes will be gained. Know this. Yeah, here's what I want to know. What game are you playing, Saren? The oldest one there is. So we pick our champions, find the blades, and then what happens? Then the contest begins. Care to be more specific? It's exactly what you think, mutant. I am Emma Frost the Third of the multiple death and reincarnations, and thus I look like her for some reason. You step into the arena knowing the full measures of what you're fighting for. You face your enemy who wants nothing less than your total annihilation. You look them in the eye, steady yourself, and then, Ridge Stable Station coming online. You raise your sword. And we see a gigantic space station called Sword, also known as the Sword Orbital Station. The P Action Report. Status offline. Security measures disabled. Engines offline. Emergency power failing. Crew size 6,290. Biological scans. Life forms undetected. Note: 3 weeks ago, all contact with the peak ceased. They said the power and defense grid went offline. Efforts to contact the station have failed. All rescue missions have failed. Quarantine measures have been enacted. No one knows what happened. And thus ends the Exosaurus Creation issue number 1. A very densely written book. Very dense, but with some beautiful, freaking beautiful artwork. I love this artwork by Pepe Larraz and the coloring of it. It's so gorgeous. Gorgeous! And I cannot wait for these chapters to come out. No idea if I'll cover the whole thing, but I'll try my best. But we'll see. The next chapter is going to be X Factor number 4. Then it's going to be Wolverine on October 7th. X-Force, Marauders, Hellions 5, New Mutants 13, Cable 5, Excalibur 13, X-Men 13, Exosword Stasis number 1. That comes out at the end of October. But yeah, this is a densely written, very, very complicated comic that you have to catch up with Dawn of X to know about. So I got a lot of rereading to do to catch up on what the hell happened with certain stuff. Like, I keep looking at this as Saturn, and I'm thinking, is that Emma Frost? It looks like Emma Frost. So I'm curious to know if they'll ever encounter each other and then have an awkward conversation. Unless I already have it in the comics, in which case I am an idiot. So, yeah, I'm more nuanced with DC Comics than I am with Marvel Comics. So, Hickman is usually my reason to keep coming back to Marvel. So, yeah, looking forward to this. Can't wait to see where the Exos 10 of Swords event comes from and where the fallout's going to happen. All we know is that Sword's going to be a big event, big story that will affect the entire Marvel cosmology, it seems. According to the press release that came out. But those were my thoughts on Dawn of X's X-Men 10 of Swords Creation number 1. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. If you like, comment, subscribe, and donate, stay tuned for more.